Hello.
Hello.
Look at
Here we
us.
are. I just knew it was only a matter of time until we had to do it like this.
Yeah, it actually works out good.
Yeah, it does. If
So
you're
hopefully
listening to this, Sarah and I are doing like a Zoom call basically.
yes, I had to watch a couple YouTube videos of other like podcasters doing it this way and like what works. So hopefully we don't finish this whole episode and it doesn't like record or something. So
Bless. That would be
bless.
terrible.
Yes. So what you got going on behind you there if you're
Um, I
watching?
have I have a picture, a beautiful picture of August Grace, and I the reason why I even know about this
Mhm.
artist is actually through a friend. Her name is Michaela Fagan. Her husband got her this beautiful painting of her and her sons. And she posted it on Instagram, and I was like, where did you get that? Where did he get that? I need to know because I want to get one for my best friend for her birthday. And so she told me about the artist. It's called Design by Memories. And then I got one for you for your
Yes.
birthday, one of
Mhm.
Penny, or I'm sorry, Summer. And then I was like, it's so beautiful. I need one of August. So I got one for me too.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe when we break, I'll go grab my picture. I
Yeah.
can show that one as well because it is a beautiful photo.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. So yeah, we are doing this remotely because you are a busy bee, and we
Hmm.
did not realize that I came back from Disney and you leave for a trip as well, like tomorrow.
Yep.
So we didn't really have much choice just based upon schedules and stuff. Um, but yeah, so we went to Disney.
Yeah. How
It
was it?
it was so fun. Um, the what I respected the most about Disney is how clean it was. As a clean freak, I did not see one piece of trash on the ground.
No,
It
yeah,
was so
no.
clean. Trash cans everywhere. Like you would trip on one.
Hmm.
There were no bugs, and someone told me that Disney actually has like a barrier or something around their like whole because they own like half of Florida, I feel like, and they have a
Yeah.
barrier around so you can't like no bugs get in. So I really liked that. Penny is the perfect age to go. She
Mm.
loved all the rides. She loved meeting the princesses. She did not like meeting anybody dressed up as a character. They were
Oh,
too scary,
interesting.
too
Yeah.
scary. So if
Okay.
she would be like, "I want to go see Goofy," and I'd be like, "All right, let's go." And then the second she saw Goofy, she was like, "I don't want to see him."
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
crying, but just more like, "I don't want to see him, mommy. You hold me," so that I have to go see Goofy and I have to talk to
right.
Goofy. And
Yes.
Goofy does not talk back. So I'm just like, ha, Goofy, you're so funny. Art, look, Penny, look at his ears. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just hanging out with Goofy here.
Yeah. Otto
But
was
it
like that
was,
a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure the last time you guys went, was he Buzz Lightyear like crazy? Did he like him?
He was, but he didn't. He was a little like stranger danger with them. It was weird. Like he was okay with high fives, but he didn't like want to get hugged or anything like that. Like he even told Mickey, he went up to Mickey and was like, "I don't want to hug you. I just want to give you a high five."
And Mickey
So
respected that.
yeah,
They also have like a liaison. Like each character has like somebody on the sideline, at least that I noticed, that like speaks for them. So
yeah.
it was like Mickey likes your dress because Mickey would be like, "Ooh," and he'd be like, Mickey likes your dress, and I'm like, okay, like cool. So that was like really sweet. And Penny was nervous meeting, you know, the movie Inside Out
Yes.
with like they're in the brain or your whatever your thoughts are. She met Joy from Inside Out,
Oh,
and
cool.
she had on her Penny shirt, and as we were like getting ready to go meet her, the like person who like speaks on behalf of the animal or what not the animal but the person in the suit was like, "Is your name Penny?" And Penny was like, and he was like, "We've been waiting for you, Penny." And he's like, "Joy, look, it's Penny. We've been waiting for her." And Penny was like, it was so sweet.
Oh my
Um, the
gosh, so
most precious
magical.
little thing. It was so magical. And then we had to get, and then some mom, because it was just Penny and I at this time, and some mom was like, "Mom, give me your phone. I'll get a picture." And so she took my phone and got a picture. It was so nice. Just everyone was so sweet there.
Yeah.
It was one rainy day, which is a Florida, that's not bad. And it was the day we were in Magic Kingdom, and it was perfect because like the rides, nobody was there. So we got to ride all the rides. And like a little rain isn't bad, you know what I mean? Because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's not like it's cold rain where you're like, oh, this is freezing. It's kind of like, oh, that was a little refreshing, like a little shower.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt. But the flights were good. Penny loved it. Just like a little backstory is we were actually planning on going in September. Um, Before Summer was born, we were planning on going like with Summer and Penny. And once all of that, obviously with Summer and she passed away, we decided not to go anymore. Just because there's a lot of rules, not rules to Disney, but there's a lot now with like passes and lightning lanes, and you got to log in at 7 a.m. Like that, I could not. I don't even like. I just have to remember I brush my teeth in the morning. Like I can't be. I'm not logging in at 7 a.m. So
It's
our
stressful.
it is. So our really good friends, Emily and Mark, they have two children as well. They planned the whole trip. Well, Emily did. They planned the whole trip for us. We got a villa, we shared a room. So they handled kind of everything because they're Disney pros.
Love it.
So that was really nice. So I feel like while it was a very bittersweet trip because I knew why we were going was we were supposed to go with Summer, but obviously it was just with Penny now. But it worked out good, and I only cried one time, and it was on the stupid Frozen, like there's like a musical where they sing. I
Mhm.
don't know if you went there in Magic Kingdom, I think,
Uh-uh.
and it's a sing along, and Olaf starts singing the song Summer,
Oh.
where he's like, "It's summer," and I would just like put my sunglasses on and was just like sobbing. I'm like,
Oh my
Olaf.
God.
It's like the one moment where you're not like
Such a
like the one
such a weird
happiest.
moment for you to
It
choose to
it really was
cry.
to do it. I know. So that was like the one time I like really cried. But other than that, it was great, and I do look forward to going back again. The Disney, they like put a spell on me.
Yeah, they do.
They also aren't going to pay my credit card bill yet, so once
No,
that's
they're not.
that's taken care of. While I was in Disney, what did you guys do? I feel like I didn't really get to talk to you besides sending you pictures.
Yeah, you missed my birthday.
Yeah, thankfully I
So
wished you a happy birthday, but
no, yeah, you
yeah,
obviously, yes. But yes, you were gone on my birthday. But
happy
we kept it low
birthday.
key anyway. So
Mhm.
we went on a date night on Thursday night.
Ooh,
And we went out to a Mexican restaurant, which is my favorite cuisine. And then we went to a bar afterwards and watched the Phillies game,
go
which
Phils.
was really good. Yes. So, a funny story, real quick, about that is Keith and I are going on this trip coming up. We're going to Florida and for a Keith's work business trip, and no kids. So we were like,
Ooh,
we're kind of
classic.
excited, but like we have a full itinerary, so it's going to be fun. But I'm kind of anxious to see how it goes. But we're on the way to the bar, and we are kind of having that discussion of like, well, what if somebody asks us how many kids we have? Like, what are we gonna say? Are we gonna get personal? Or are we gonna drop this information? Like,
You
are
and
we
Keith
gonna
are discussing this at the bar.
we're before we get to the bar?
Like this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know if someone on this trip is going to ask, or if anyone on this trip knows us that well. And he's like, they don't really know us that well, so people might ask. And he's like, I don't know if we should even mention it. Like, we don't want to like ruin anyone's day. You know how we always say that, like, oh, it's a
Hmm.
day ruiner when you find out. So we were kind of going back and forth and talking about it. So we end up going to this bar, and we make friends with we're sitting at like the corner of the bar, and we're making friends with like the people on one side and the people on the other side. Everyone is so nice. And I'm talking to this girl next to me, this woman, and she's talking about her kids, and we had a babysitter that night, and we were talking about like getting the babysitter, and she's like, oh, my oldest is 14 and blah blah blah. She babysits them, it's great. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, what a dream. Can't wait for
Hmm.
that. And she says, so how many kids do you have? And I was like, um we have two. And she was like, are you going to try for more? Are you going to try for a girl? Are like all of the things. And
All the
Keith
things.
is,
Yep.
Keith is sitting like on the other side of me and he's listening to her say this and he's watching my reaction and he is
Hmm.
seeing firsthand what we go through or what, and you will eventually start going through as time goes on, like that awkward conversation where it's like, okay, this is just like a passerby at the bar. Like, I don't need to like get into the nitty gritty.
Yes.
And we had been sitting there chat. Her name was Kristen as well, which is wild. Her birthday
Yeah.
was 2 days before mine, which is even more wild.
Hmm.
She was the nicest woman ever. And we sat there and we're chatting. We end up like exchanging phone numbers. And I was like, I gotta tell her. I gotta tell her
Oh my
like
gosh.
about August because if we're gonna be friends, like she's gotta know. So
Do you
I
guys
kind
exchange
of,
numbers with the purpose of like hanging out again, or
yeah, like hanging out
okay,
again or like, seeing if anyone was in the area doing another date night, something like that.
cool. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I told her all about August and she's like welling up and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And I'm telling her about the podcast and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And like I was like, "You don't have to apologize. Like this is exactly what we talk about on the podcast." So it's like kind of crazy that we had this conversation and my husband got to hear this conversation like firsthand and Keith and I were sitting there at the bar after everything was all said and done, and he was like, well, "We're going to tell people that we have 3 children and that one of them is in heaven." Because
Yeah.
that was so hard to listen to, and I could feel your anxiety, like just by standing next to you. And I was like,
Aw.
"Okay." Like it kind of put a bow on like a decision that we weren't really sure if we would like tell people, not because we're ashamed, but just because like it's a long story but you can
Mhm.
make it short and you can be if you're confident and you're concise like you can keep it like with no tears and just very factual while
Yes.
still saying being proud of our daughter. So
Yeah.
very very interesting.
That is interesting. And how like great that Keith also was on board. Like, hey, we have 3 kids. Let's just say we have 3 kids. And if it comes up, we don't mind if people say their names or, you can always say,
Hmm.
I have 3 children, to our Earth side or something.
Yeah.
And then it kind of at least allows that conversation to either go like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, or like, oh, okay. And people might not ask any more follow-up questions after that.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Well, that's so funny. A perfect prime example of what,
Perfect
we talk about.
example. I know.
Yes.
It was cool.
Um, so that's sort of, we'll get into this later in the episode, kind of the thick of it, but we decided to, for this episode, sort of do an opposite of episode 2, where, titled Can You Punch Me in the Face? Where we
Yeah.
talked about things that necessarily aren't really helpful to say, things that we don't really like when people say, and we also spoke about other people's experiences too of what was not helpful for them. So opposite of that is things that were helpful, things that we wish that people would say more, things that you know we think are helpful to any situation if you're talking to somebody who's lost a child.
Yeah.
So we thought that would be a good sort of episode for here. But let's talk about, Kristen. Do you want to talk about our new section that we're doing, that we decided to
Yes.
do?
Yeah, so I think every week, or I mean, we should try to do every week as much as
Mhm.
we can. We're gonna highlight an angel of the week. So a friend, somebody that we might know who has a child who has passed, and kind of share out their story, speak their name, and just bring awareness to different types of, you know, reasons why infants pass or children pass. So I think it'll be cool. And it's just like a nice thing for moms to hear a little bit about their babies too.
Absolutely. And who wouldn't like if somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, can we share like Summer story on our podcast?" I'm like, "Absolutely, send it to everyone I
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
Please say her name. This is her story. This is a picture of her."
Yeah.
So I think this is really special, and also because we do have so many grieving mothers, or even not just mothers, fathers as well, who have lost
Yeah.
children, and grandparents. So this would be just an honor for us to kind of use the platform that we have to to speak about other angels.
Yeah.
And I do want to preface that we are calling it Angel of the Week. And I know in our episode 2, we were like, we don't like when people refer like heaven needed an angel, or, God needed an angel. That to us feels different than saying an angel of the week. Cause like we do believe our children are angels, but we just don't want someone to say God needed an angel.
Yeah, because he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So
He's got plenty.
exactly. So we still think of them as angels. We just don't need to say that um, that they needed our angels. So we decided to do Angel of the Week. So I'm actually going to spearhead our first Angel of the Week. And I'll talk a little bit. I do like have it like up on my computer here. A little bit of the story of the angel that we're going to be highlighting. And then hopefully at the end of the podcast, when this is done, if you are watching it, I'll show you a picture of our angel as well. So you can see what they looked like firsthand. All right, so let's get into it. Today we're going to be highlighting Angel Jackson Robert Lennon. Jackson was born Monday, February 27th, 2003, to Joshua Lennon and Kaylin Rowe. Jackson was 6 pounds 5 ounces, and Jackson became their forever angel on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Jackson was born with a rare muscular affecting genetic disorder called myotubular myopathy. And I'll talk a little bit about the end, sort of what that is. But most of the knowledge of this condition is all statistics, and for every baby, it really is different. But what they knew ultimately is, unfortunately, that this genetic disorder that he had would be fatal. Muscular myotubular myopathy is an X-linked gene, which really means that it attacks every muscle in the body except for the heart. So that's the problem sometimes, especially I know with like August and summer and even Jackson, like babies' hearts are so strong. But this, because they're so fresh and have their whole lives to beat. So this unfortunately attacks every other muscle in the body except for the heart. After a month in the NICU, Jackson was at Nemours. After a month in the NICU, after they met with specialists and surgeons and neurologists, they did decide to bring him home and love on him at home, make memories. And they had an army of people helping him, which is fantastic because he did require, round the clock care. But in that time, Kaylin had said that Jackson loved to hear her voice saying, "Good morning, Mr. Man." And he loved to hear his dad singing "Oh Baby Jack Jack" and kissing him so many times. He loved sleepovers at his grandparents' house. He loved story time with grandmom, learning about the stars and dinosaurs. He loved Veggie Tales and the Lion Guard and clapping his hands. He was a big snuggle bug, and he wasn't picky with who held him. He loved to go for walks in the stroller, feel the sun on his skin, and he always had a smile. Unfortunately, Jackson did pass away at home. And part of something fantastic that his parents decided to do was they actually did donate a little bit of Jackson's, body to science and research to help other families and other babies in the future that are born with this.
Wow.
So that's Jackson's story kind of as a whole. But I do want to say that I didn't put this in the beginning part, but sort of at the end, Jackson, this will make me cry. Jackson was also our NICU neighbor when we were at Nemours. So we were at the hospital at the same time, and we were next door neighbors. So Summer and Jackson had the same nurses, and we always would see Jackson and Kaylin kind of walk the halls. We knew their baby left on hospice just based upon kind of what we had seen when we were there. And we also knew that we were leaving with our child on hospice as well. They had a little bit more time with Jackson. It's never enough, but they had more time with Jackson at home to just love on him and give him, make the most and the best memories that they could. But the weird thing is that I know, Kristen, you know this story. The weird thing is Kaylin and we had one interaction in like our little washing hands station break area where I just was like, "Hey, I'm your neighbor. If you ever need anything, a hug, to cry, you just want to talk, like I'm always here, feel free to stop by and see me. And she was like, oh, thank you. And we left. We never saw each other again. So Doug and I got tattoos of Summer's handprint on our arm, and the tattoo artist posted a picture of us online. Kaylin actually follows the tattoo artist and reached out to me on Instagram and friended me and was like, hey, I don't know if you know who I am, but I was your NICU neighbor in Nemours.
Oh.
And I just saw that your daughter passed away. I'm so sorry. So I immediately accepted the request and wrote her back and was like, Kaylin, I think about you every single day. Because remember, we didn't know each other. I just knew that her baby was sick and that Summer was sick. So kind of flash forward to all of this, I ended up meeting Jackson multiple times, and it was such an honor to meet him. And he actually, Kaylin and Josh generously accepted all of my breast milk that I had pumped for Summer. So Jackson was receiving Summer's breast milk. So Jackson's story is obviously really close to us, because he had a little bit of part of Summer. So yeah, that's Jackson's story. Got through it pretty good.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he was a wonderful little boy. He was so sweet, so cuddly. It sucks that, we have to highlight him as the angel of the week, but his life had meaning, just like all of the other, babies that, are on the earth. So yeah, that is Jackson's story.
Oh, little Jackson. Kaylin, I don't know you personally, but I feel like I do through Sarah, and I wish I could give you a big hug right now.
Air hug. Kaylin did tell me that her and Josh watched the episodes together. And I did get permission from Kaylin. I talked to her yesterday to kind of share his story. We would never
I hope so.
Yeah, we would never share anyone's stories without asking them. But she had said, or I think Josh maybe, because Josh and I work at the same company. Ironically, we worked at the same place. He said they get a 4-pack of some Surfside, and they watch the episode together.
Aww.
So I'm like, how cute is that?
Hi guys.
So yes. So yeah, speaking of, I have a Surfside, so I'm gonna pop it open.
And it's got the Phillies on it too. Go Phils.
The Fanatic. Yes, go Phillies. So yeah, that is our angel of the week, Jackson. So sweet little boy. So all right. Anything else, Kristen, before we get into it?
I don't know. Should we take a little break and then get into all the questions?
Love that.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's take a non-spawn break and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Surfside, for our non-sponsored break. I did want to say a disclaimer. Kristen brought to my attention that my computer might be lagging a little bit, my phone. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi, whatever it may be. So sorry. The audio should be good though. So if I am lagging a little bit, it's just because I'm stuck in another dimension, apparently.
In a potato.
And look, I brought my picture.
Yes, so pretty.
Kristen got this.
I love it.
It's one of my favorites. Love it. Because I always like to, and you listened, because I said I think my smile, it's like a real smile.
Yeah,
it was a nice, genuine moment.
Yeah.
Do you have any disclaimer?
Yeah, there's another disclaimer. There's a child here on the floor drinking a bottle. Crew is with us. He is joined. His naps are all messed up, and I thought we were gonna get through this without him being awake, but he did wake up, so he will be joining us for the second half of our podcast today.
We are just real moms. You're just a real mom doing real things.
Hashtag real mom.
Yeah. So I'm happy that if he has to make an appearance, he can, because he is so cute.
Yes. Thank you.
Also, I always tell you, he's got a special light around him, just because he was sent here from August. So he just is a little angel face.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, you might be hearing his. I just see his little kicking. He's gonna be crawling out of here. He's not gonna hang around for this podcast.
Oh, and he threw his bottle. Okay, great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you keep talking.
Okay, so I will take over. We are going to review some questions that people had asked us, but also just we're going to review some things that we wish that people would have asked us.
Yeah.
First things first, someone wanted to know where you got your headband last week.
Oh, I think I got it from Target.
Target? Okay.
Yeah,
Target.
Target.
Search Target. Target headbands. That's where you can find the headband.
Easy
Um,
peasy.
easy. That's a great question. All right, Kristen. First question. Um, what do you wish that people or questions people would ask more but don't?
Mm. Questions that I wish people would ask more but don't.
Yeah, like a question that you just wish somebody would ask you and
Yeah,
they don't.
I wish that people would ask to see pictures more.
Hmm.
Um, because I didn't share a lot of pictures when she was alive, but I have like a select few, that I really, really enjoy. Like this one behind me is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because August was swollen a lot of her life, just because she had a couple of surgeries, and so she has a lot of like she was retaining a lot of water. But I do have like a couple of pictures that I really, really enjoy. So I wish people asked me to see pictures more. That's
That's a
like a
great
big
one.
one for me. Yeah.
Yes. Um, I think that, and I always do notice, like, it's this, like, you have, just because August, was so sick at times, like, you have a couple favorite photos that are just always the sweetest.
Yeah.
And I know she's your background too on your
Hmm.
phone. So that's always like an easy thing too.
Yeah.
Just to be like, yeah, this is my daughter.
Yeah. See it right here. Like simple, easy. Whoosh, yep. Thank you for asking. Um, I also wish that people would ask, like, what's your favorite thing about her? That's something that I
Hmm.
always ask, like, parents who have lost a child, like, oh, what was your favorite thing about them?
Yeah.
Like, that's a good one. Just a little way for us to, like, do a little brag.
Yeah. And because
So,
it's hard because their lives were so short, but they really do matter. So
yeah.
having
And
any type of conversation about them. Oh, there's like an animal in your house too, I think.
yeah.
I love it. I would say for me, I wish that people like questions they would ask more. I wish people would ask more maybe about like how Penny's affected by this.
Yeah.
Because like in any type of a way. Like, how do you feel Penny is from all of this? Or like how was Penny through all of this?
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I think about it a lot. I think about Penny a lot through the whole thing. And I know we talk about it too, like how it's going
Hmm.
to affect them and like in the long run. So um yeah, I feel like people maybe would just ask about Penny more. I know that feels weird, but just
But
kind
that's
of,
what your life is right now. Your life is
yeah.
is kind of dealing with all of your family's grief put together.
Uh-huh.
So that's like at the forefront of your mind because you're dealing with that day in and day out. But
Yes,
people don't think about that first.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was telling Brittany, my girlfriend Brittany, about like we were doing this episode, and she was like, "This is going to be so good," because I sometimes feel like in the beginning, especially, like I didn't know what to say to you, what to talk to you about. Like it was
Yeah.
like so awkward. But I do think that anytime you can bring up their name, tell us a story about her, kind of see a picture, I feel like
Hmm.
it's also great. Um, what's a question you thought that people would ask but didn't?
Hmm.
And I don't really think I have anything for this, so I don't know.
I thought that people would like ask about like her birth weight more.
Mhm.
I thought that they would ask like about my like the actual labor more. Because that's what like if you have a healthy living child, that's
Yeah.
like the first thing that someone asks you is like, oh, how is the labor? And like,
Yeah.
that you especially those TikToks that we send back and forth, like
Yeah.
moms sitting around like when you have free time and all you literally talk about is like the pain and the
Yeah, yeah.
epidural and I tore here and this and that.
Yeah,
It's
like
like I
the
wish I thought more people would ask about like the labor. I thought more people would ask about like her birth weight and stuff like that. But I feel like just the death kind of overpowers everything. And they kind of are just like, oh, okay, I'm just not going to ask.
and honestly, that's a great call out, Kristen. That's a really good call out because it really people it like you said, we're just kind of hyper focused on like the death that
Yeah.
we still delivered a whole baby
Yeah.
and we're pregnant, went to appointments, got stuck on elevators. I mean, we did the whole
And
thing.
then we had to go to the OB at 6 weeks afterwards with no
Oh.
baby.
Oh.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. What did
Like,
you do at your appointment?
I just walked in there and I saw my doctor, Dr. Schatz, who delivered August, and she was just like in and out of there. Like we gave each other a big hug, and then it was like, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta
I
go.
remember sitting in a chair crying, and then she goes, and I go, "Do I need to take off my pants and get in the gown?" And she goes, "I'm not. No, just go." Like she was like, "You don't need to do any of that," and she just listened to me cry because
That's
that's what
so
they normally do
nice.
is check you and make sure you're. No, she was like, "Just sit and cry."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That is a good call out. So we thought people would ask just maybe the birth story or, how was
Yeah.
your recovery? Obviously
Right.
we could possibly give a sarcastic answer setting up like, oh, the recovery was fine. I mean, I didn't have a baby, but
Right.
yeah, it was a part of the story. So, what is your favorite thing that someone has said to you or like a question or
Um, One of my favorite questions that people ask is, do you think she looked more like Otto or do you think she looks more like Crew now?
that is so sweet.
That's a great question to ask, and I love answering it. And it's a great way to like ask a question that it doesn't hold a lot of cards. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Mhm.
like I'm gonna crush her with this, but it's still a good enough question to get me talking about her.
Yeah, that's so sweet, and connect all the children together as one, like,
Yeah. Yep.
all my kids, these are all my kids.
Yep.
What do you think? Who do you think August looks like?
I think she definitely looks more like Crew. They both
Yeah.
have like fair skin.
Mhm.
Um, she looked a lot like Otto when she was first born. Their noses were a little different, but her and Crew were definitely like. Sometimes I look at Crew now still, and I'm like, oh, you look like August.
Yeah, they
So,
really do. You have to do like
yeah.
have you done a compare like the three-way layout or something yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, just send it to me and I'm gonna do it. I actually could
Okay.
probably do it already. Um,
I'm doing it right now.
Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna do it while we're talking here.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely do think that August looks like Crew as well. So
Yeah.
Um, for me, my favorite question I have, and I think about this moment a lot actually, is do you remember, and I can share it as well. I can share it on our Instagram and maybe like link it up in the YouTube, but I watched a TED talk and I shared it with you about the mom who lost her daughter to cancer. And
Yeah.
it's about being a veloma. A veloma is another word for so like if you are married and you lose your husband or spouse, you're a widow or a widower. If you lose your
Hmm.
parents, you're a foster or an orphan, sorry. So what's the word if you lose a child? It's called a veloma. So it's a
Right.
video talking about velomas, and it's from a veloma.
It's so
And
good. We should share it on our Instagram.
we should, yeah. Actually, we'll probably share it before this video is even aired, so you can
Yeah. Yeah.
watch
It's
it.
a good
So
call. Yeah.
if you did watch it, but she says like there's different steps that she says, and I had posted it on my Instagram before Summer's celebration, and my mom's best friend Jane, she must have watched it, or if she didn't watch it, she just ironically said the right thing at the right time. But she just said, "Tell me about Summer." That was it. It was just
Hmm.
tell me about Summer, and with a smile on her face,
And
and
that could
it was
be so simple.
so simple, and it leaves the person who's answering responding in a position to say whatever they feel they want to say in that moment,
Yeah. More open ended.
exactly. So I could have went like and said it with a smile like, tell me about Summer, what was she like? And I could say I would say positive things, I wouldn't say negative things. And same thing with
Hmm.
you with August, like, oh my god, she was a spitfire, she had attitude.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a
Yeah.
really good question. So I think for
Uh,
me that was probably one of my favorites, is just tell me about Summer, something so easy,
yeah.
tell me about August, tell me about Jackson.
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was a good one. So
That is a
thank
good
you,
one.
Jane. I know you watch Jane, so thank you.
Thanks,
Um,
Jane.
okay. A question you think people don't want to ask, but you're okay with them asking.
This kind of goes back to like the birth story thing. I think people want
Mhm.
to know about the birth story, but they don't ask. And I'm like totally fine with that. They don't ask about like when she first came out, like when did you know what something was wrong? Like those kinds of questions are okay to ask.
Mhm.
Obviously in the right setting. If we're at like a loud like house party and like we're bumping around, like, read the room a little bit. But yeah, like I
Yeah.
just feel like people don't ask those kinds of questions and they totally can. What
Yeah.
about you? What do you think?
Um, I feel the same way. I think there's never a bad time just to talk about the child, or your
Mm-hmm.
baby. Um, yeah, I think a lot of people have a fear around bringing them up. So I think it's just bringing them up because, they are our children,
Yeah.
so I just feel like people always should. And my biggest thing, I don't know if you feel this way. I want to write when I'm signing birthday cards. I want to write
I
Summer's name. I'm writing her
I
name.
know. I've gone back and forth. I've done some with her name on it. I've done some without. Yeah, it's tough.
That's something I think about all the time. Like I could cry thinking about it. But
Yeah.
like I sometimes just write like Doug, Sarah, Penny, and then I'll do a son.
Oh, that's
So
sweet.
I'll just do like a son. So it just is for
Oh,
me just
that's a
knowing.
good idea. And I'll do
So
a
you can always
butterfly.
Yeah, so you can always just do like a butterfly. So I always just that's what I've been doing because I feel like weird not putting her on there just because like it's just
She's
weird.
still part of you. Yeah, I know. And that's a great one to like, I never even thought of that, but that's something that you deal with like on a weekly basis when you're writing a card during Christmas, like
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Was there a
This is gonna be
question that
wild with crew in here.
I know I'm just like crying? Crew's like just being a wild animal.
He's like, hi,
We're
just
going
gonna
rogue
find some
today.
toys. Yeah, we
Yes.
are.
No, do what you have to do. Okay. So, was there ever a question that you didn't know the answer to, where somebody just befuddled you?
Mm, no, I think in the beginning there was like some time where I was like, if people asked like a medical question, I was like getting the answers really confused because I was just still so fresh and like in like a haze a little bit. But I've like since been able to gather myself and like really, um, I've like gone home and like I'll think about the answers, like, oh, I should have said this, like, duh, of course. So at the beginning, I think when people ask like medical things, that's when I was like, oh, I'm not really sure, but now I've got it all figured out. So,
Yeah.
what about you?
I um I I don't know. I don't think I have an answer for that one. I don't think there's ever been like one where I'm like I just word vomit a lot sometimes if I'm nervous about things. So if I don't know the
Yeah,
answer to something, I'm just like, I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah,
You're
so
still
that was
super
a
fresh too. So
yeah,
there could
exactly.
be a time in like 2 years from now where somebody asks you something and you'll be like, I never thought, no one's ever asked me that
Yeah,
before.
no one's ever asked me that bad boy. Okay. Was there a question that you feel should be off limits always? Like what's a question that like nobody should ask? Or to you?
Mm, I can't say. I can't say because it's been asked to me before.
Mhm.
So I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
No one will ever say it again. I know, but I can't even go there. I can't even
Okay.
go there because it makes me
Okay.
mad. So
Okay.
sorry for the sake. I should be answering it for the sake of this podcast, but
Nope. No worries. No
I'm
worries
not
at
going
all.
to.
I will answer then.
Okay.
So mine was um what's a question to be off limits? No one's ever asked me this, but I anticipate down the line, possibly. Like, did you take any pictures of her when she died?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not gonna answer that, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna even show you if I did. Um, Or for me, this is another personal one, but like, can I see one of her videos of her like having a seizure? Like, I'm not going to show you those.
Yeah.
And another one that like I just don't like when people ask is like, how are you sleeping? Like a question like, how are you sleeping? I'm not sleeping well. Like,
Yeah.
never ask any
That's
mom,
it's
anyways.
kind of rhetorical.
Yeah, any
It's
mom,
like,
even if you have a living baby, how are you
yeah,
sleeping? So those are
right.
ones to me that I'm just like, just please don't ever ask me about
Those are good
those.
ones. Yeah, those
Yeah,
are good
I don't.
ones.
So same thing with like
But
with August. Like, can you show me a picture with her all bloated? You know, like no.
yeah,
So
no,
I
yeah.
think it's just sort of keeping the conversation to positive things
Yes.
rather than the negative ones. So I had two more questions. Let me see if I can get this. If I can do this without ending.
I know we had a question from one of our Instagram stories. Someone said, what can people do to continue to support grieving people even years after?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a that's a good question, and I'm not sure if I know the answer just yet. I'm only 2 years in, but I just think like continuing to ask questions is a good one, and I think that there's a fear in especially like a mom's if you've lost a child, there's like that fear that people are going to forget, people are going to
Mm-hmm.
move on. So I think just like keeping their memory alive and fresh by asking questions, like continuing to ask questions.
Yes. No, that's a good call out.
Yeah.
Because it is scary. Somebody had brought to my attention, like, and it wasn't in like a mean way, and I don't think they anticipated it to affect me this way, but they had said like, enjoy the moments that you have and that you remember, because you're not always going to remember what she smelled like or what felt like to hold her. Like you're not always going to have that so close to your heart. You're going to have to really dig deep to find those. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So I
It's
thought
sad to
that
think
was,
about.
yeah, I thought that was really interesting because it's so vivid.
Mm-hmm.
Always on the forefront that like there is going to be a time where I'll be like, oh, like, because I can still smell, like I have a hospital bag that I sealed with all her stuff
Yes.
that I
Yeah, I
literally
have.
just can, I go and smell and close it and don't
Yeah.
tuck it up really good.
It's immediate tears. Yeah, I have
Yes.
my sister bought me this beautiful memory box to keep all of her stuff, all of August stuff in. And she only got to wear one outfit. And so that one outfit is in there and it keeps like this, as soon as I open it, everything, like the smell just comes right out. And I'm like, oh, it just
Yes.
brings you, smells are so, they just bring you right back.
Yes. And then also sounds can bring you back too. Like if you ever have to go back to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital, like I'm sure when you delivered Crew, like sounds of machines beeping and everything, that can be like pretty triggering too. So
Yeah, I really had to like block stuff out and like
mm-hmm.
compartmentalize. I had to like teach myself how to compartmentalize before I went in with Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I had to really like coach myself to know like this is a different pregnancy, this is a different experience, everything's going to be okay. Because that was tough, yeah. And even my grandfather passed away shortly after August passed, and Keith and I went to go visit him before he had passed away in the hospital, and he was not doing well and was, I mean, just the smell of the hospital and the sounds like walking through, like we both were breaking down for
Mm-hmm.
him and for August. It was wild. Like it was like the first time we had been in a hospital, an intensive care unit um after her, and it was like it was wild. Like it was tough on both of us. So yeah, it's a lot of triggers.
Yeah. And you don't even realize what could possibly trigger you or not either. So it's just sort of go with the
Yeah.
flow of and accepting life kind of as it comes. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So do we want to end here? We just did like a short little episode, just catching up. Um,
Yeah.
And then
I feel like I feel like I've got so much other stuff to say, but I haven't seen you in a while. Like I need to be next to you. I don't like this.
yeah,
I miss you.
this is not
Speaking of
ideal. Also,
smells, I miss you.
um, yeah, I was just thinking about when we were in Disney, the smells because it was so hot. That
Oh god.
just it was. I'm like, is there a pool around here? Can I like dunk my head somewhere? Also, this is the first time I think I've seen your hair. You got your hair done?
Yes, it's
And see, it
lighter.
looks
It's
so
fresh.
fresh. I love it. It's like the first time I'm
Thank
seeing it.
you.
I like it. I'm a Barbie
Thank
girl.
you.
And you got your nails done. You're ready to go.
I am ready. I'm
Cool.
so excited to go on this trip. It'll be the first time that Keith and I go on a trip without kids since Otto was 6 months.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're not going to know how to act.
No, we're going to talk about the kids the whole time.
And you're on a work trip. So it's not like you can get super cray cray Kristen pre-kids that were wild.
Exactly.
So you
Or
got to be
can I?
professional.
I'm just kidding.
I
Keith would
anticipate
kill
there would be moments of fun, but it might have to be when you're not around work people.
Yeah, I told Keith, I said, if people offer me too many drinks and you're there to witness it, you have my permission to tell me to slow down. Normally, I would say, no, don't stop me.
Yeah.
But for this, you stop me.
Maybe just drink things that aren't really full of like, don't drink liquor. Just maybe stick to
Water?
Water. Just ask like, do you guys have a Capri Sun?
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah,
You know
that's a
any
great
Sunny
idea.
D's?
Yeah, with every drink, have a cup of water. Maybe hold a baguette in your purse that if you need some substance, you can just eat a baguette and go from
They're like,
there.
where does this girl think we are? France?
Yeah, that's something I would do. So
Yes.
no shame in the game. No shame in the bread game.
No, I love bread.
Same.
Thank you, Oprah.
Vegan problems. Thank you, Oprah. We can have bread. All right, so let me let you go so you can take to your child.
Thank
He did
you.
such a great job.
Yeah, he's getting fussy back there. He's like, now that he's crawling, he's just everywhere. So it's wild town.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be Keith's sister's problem now. So
I know. Yeah, Courtney's gonna watch him.
All right, so we will get together when you return back from Florida. We will be in person, but I'm glad we were able to figure this out.
Yes,
hopefully it all worked out good.
Send us suggestions for what you want to hear about for the next week's episode.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll highlight another angel and all the things.
Our angel of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Crew?
Where did he disappear?
He's in the cat food.
Okay. Well, we should go. All right. That was Good Grief, episode 5. Have a great vacation. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye, guys.
All right. See ya.